All right, as the year starts to wrap up, do you ever get that nagging feeling, that little voice in your head saying you should be doing something with your money? Well, you're in exactly the right place. We're going to walk through a really simple year-end financial checkup to get you feeling organized and confident for the new year.
So, is your money ready for 2026? It sounds like a simple question, right? But the answer can feel, well, a little messy sometimes. Don't you worry, though. Over the next few minutes, we're going to make sure your answer is a definite yes.
Look, nobody wants one of those monster checklists that's a mile long. So we're not doing that. Instead, we're breaking this down into a super clear three-part plan. The whole point here is to build clarity and, some real confidence for the year ahead.
Okay, part one, taking stock. First things first, we've got to see where you stand right now. I mean, you can't really plan a road trip without knowing your starting point, can you? It's the exact same thing with your finances.
So let's just take a quick look back at the year. Did any big life changes happen? Maybe bought a house, welcomed a new baby, or went through a divorce? Those are huge, and they definitely have a financial ripple effect. And what about those goals you set for 2025? It's time for a quick, honest check-in. What did you knock out of the park, and what's maybe still on the to-do list? Okay, next up, let's calculate your net worth. Now, that might sound super technical, but I promise it's not. It's actually pretty easy. Step 1, list out everything you own that has value. We're talking bank accounts, investments, your house. Those are your assets. Then, step 2, list out everything you owe, like your mortgage, student loans, any credit card debt. And the final step, you just subtract your debts from your assets. That's it.
And that number you get, that's your net worth. Think of it as the ultimate snapshot of your financial health. It is, quite simply, what you own minus what you owe. It's your financial bottom line, and it tells you exactly where you stand today.
So what about a safety net for when things go sideways? The golden rule, and you've probably heard it before, is to have an emergency fund. We're talking about at least 6 months of your essential living expenses tucked away in an account you can get to fast. This is your buffer against life's little and not so little surprises.
All right, fantastic. You've got a really clear picture of where you are right now. So let's roll into part 2, prepping for taxes. This is where we can make some really smart moves before the year officially closes out.
So here's the big idea for this section. The things you do right now before December 31st can actually lower your tax bill for 2025. It's true. And one of the most powerful ways to do that is by putting as much as you can into tax-advantaged accounts, like a 401k or an IRA. So how much are we talking about here? Well, for 2025, if you're under the age of 50, you can put up to $7,000 into an IRA. Seriously, maxing that out is a brilliant move. You boost your retirement savings, and you could lower your taxes. It's a total win-win. And hey, if you're 50 or over, you get a little extra boost. The government calls it a catch-up contribution, which is pretty cool. It means you can put in an extra grand for a total of $8,000.
Now let's talk about the Roth IRA. This is another amazing tool, mainly because your money in a Roth can grow completely tax-free. But there is a catch. It's based on your income. So your ability to contribute depends on what's called your adjusted gross income, or AGI. As you can see, there are specific limits for single filers and for those who are married and filing jointly.
And please don't forget about HSAs, health savings accounts. If you happen to have a high-deductible health plan, this is something you absolutely need to be looking at. For 2025, an individual can contribute up to $4,300. This is another one of those fantastic tax-advantaged accounts. And for families, that number gets even better. The contribution limit for 2025 jumps all the way up to $8,550. That is a huge opportunity to save for medical costs, all tax-free.
Okay, here's another pro move for the end of the year: tax loss harvesting. I know it sounds complicated, but the idea is actually really simple. You basically sell some investments that are down, that are at a loss, to help offset the taxes you'd owe on your investments that have gone up. It's all about balancing things out. And here is the magic number to remember with this strategy. If your losses end up being more than your gains, you can actually deduct up to $3,000 of those net losses against your regular ordinary income every single year. This can really help trim down that final tax bill.
And last but not least for this tax section, start getting your paperwork together now. Don't wait. Go ahead and gather up your receipts for any charitable donations you've made and pull together any records of large financial gifts. You will thank yourself later. Trust me, being organized is half the battle.
All right, we've made it to our final section, part 3. We've looked back at 2025, we've prepped for taxes. Now it's time to shift our focus and look to the future. Let's talk about some smart moves for the long haul.
Now, this part is so important, but it's one of those things that's easy to put off. Take a few minutes to actually look at your long-term plans. We're talking about your will, any trusts you have set up, and your life insurance policies. The big question is, do these documents still reflect what you want and where you are in life? Because an outdated plan can create some serious headaches down the line.
And of course, the big one, retirement. It's time for a quick gut check. Just ask yourself honestly, based on what I'm doing right now, am I on the right track to live the life I actually want in retirement? It's such a critical question to ask yourself at least once a year.
You know, a huge piece of that retirement puzzle is Social Security. And it is so easy to check up on it. You just go to the Social Security Administration's website and create an account. From there, you can do 2 really important things. First, review your earnings record to make sure it's accurate. And second, you'll get to see an estimate of your future benefits. This is an absolute must-do.
And that's it. There you have it. You've looked at where you stand, you've made some smart, last-minute tax moves, and you've checked in on your long-term goals. What you've really done here is create your financial blueprint for 2026.
So that all leads us to the final and maybe the most powerful question of all. Now that you've reviewed 2025, now that you have all this clarity, what's your money's next move? What's the one thing you're going to tackle first in the new year?
Hey, just so you know, the information in this explainer is based on content from the folks at Blue Aris Financial Advisory. We really hope this 3-part plan helps you feel ready to take on the new year with financial confidence. Thanks so much for tuning in.